All right, this is the day. This is day 3, the beginning of day 3. I'm just going to do a recap of yesterday, which was day 2. Long day, but fun, exciting, interesting. Learned a lot. Yesterday we went to the memorial for Carter G. Woodson for W.E.B. Du Bois, or Du Bois, or whatever you want to call his last name. We went to his memorial, which is in city center of Accra, which is like around the corner from the hotel that we're staying in. It was definitely a good experience. The tour guide was very, very informative. His name was Bao. He's part Nigerian and part Ghanaian, and he came in on a Sunday when they're normally closed to give us a tour of the museum, which was actually W.B. Du Bois' final resting place. That's where he passed away at his home when he moved to Ghana back in 1962, I believe, because he only lived in Ghana for 3 years. He was 92 when he was asked to move here by the president to complete an encyclopedia series. So yeah, it was really, really good, very informative. I got pretty much the majority of the tour on video. It was just so nice to see, so informative. Then after we left there, we went to the museum the museum for Kwame Nkrumah, which was the first president of Ghana. He was the person in charge of the Ghanaian independence in 1957. Unfortunately, he was ousted by his chief military officer or something like that, who was paid by the American CIA to oust him while he was out of the country. But it was real inspirational, kind of seeing his journey and going through his life. And again, the tour guide was very, very informative and very helpful. It was a very good experience. I have that too, most of that on film. There was an area of the museum where we weren't allowed to bring in camera or video, so I have it all up here. After that, we went to the arts and craft market. Crazy. As I mentioned yesterday, like, very uncomfortable with the whole bargaining thing. Like, it's cool and it's interesting, it's their way of life, but like in America, we don't have to deal with that. We go to a store, like I said yesterday, if it's $9.99, we pay $9.99, go to the checkout register and be cool. Oftentimes when we go into stores, we don't have to speak to anyone if we don't want to, especially with self-checkout now. Like, we could just go in, get what we want to come out. Here is very much a bargaining system. You go in, they talk to you, and you try to find the best price for what you want. Retrospect, I wish I probably would have bought something, but it was just too overwhelming, and we only had an hour. It's like, as soon as you get there, they're like on you like vultures, like, come to my shop, let me show you what I have, and I just kept telling them I'm just looking to that, I'm just browsing, I'm not really looking for anything. And I asked a lot of questions though. Like, I commend them, not commend them, and I don't want to show pity on them, but like, this is their way of life. It was like a good 90 degrees and 100% humidity, if you ask me, yesterday, and they come out there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. like in this kind of heat and like really close quarters. And apparently, according to the locals and people who come here often, yesterday was a light day because many people choose not to work on Sundays because of church and religious obligations. So it was crazy. Like, every time they see me, Rastaman, my brother, Rastaman, come buy something from me, or look at this, I'll give you a great deal. And it's still hard to know, like, if you're being taken or what's real or what's authentic, or what, if they're giving you the correct price or a reasonable price, or are they trying to get over on you because you're American. But what I loved and what I saw was the camaraderie and the love, the fellowship. And it's kind of hard to tell if it's genuine or not, or if they're just doing it because they want you to buy something. But in my heart, I think for the most part, they were genuine. And, the ones that I told I wasn't buying anything to, well, just look around, and if you come back, remember my shop, blah, blah. I mean, of course, they thought if you came in and they pulled stuff out and showed you that you would buy at least something. But like I said yesterday, that kind of environment makes me really uncomfortable, and it's just a lot of pressure to buy stuff. And, you can't think straight, and it's just a whole lot of people. Like, they come and like attack you. not attack you, but they're very in America we very much have our personal bubble space, and here not so much. They come and touch you and handshake, and some lady like grabbed my arm yesterday to pull me in her shop, and I had to really be like, all right, I didn't, this is their culture, this is how they interact and engage with one another. Your personal bubble space kind of doesn't exist, which is okay. I didn't mind that, because like, by and large, they were all very, very friendly and very, just doing what they have to do to survive day to day. And it's kind of, heart-wrenching at times, because yesterday, in some of the shops that weren't open, you see little babies and kids, sleeping on concrete in the middle of, heat, like, and not heat that, the heat that I can best describe it with is like the South or the Midwest in the summertime. And that's the kind of heat that it is. And, walking through there, I'm drenched in sweat. And, for them, that's just their way of life. And, many times, I'm just doing this trying to survive, to eat, blah, blah, blah. And I'm very much sympathetic to children and to stories. So I could be taken, like, I know I could be taken advantage of easily, or, I have a empathy for that. And I'm glad I'm aware of that now. My mom used to be, or if you're watching this, she used to always, before I went to college, she always used to tell me that I'm too nice or too gullible, and which is in part true. Like, I always see the best intentions in people, which is a good thing and can be a bad thing. So I was very cautious and a little uncomfortable in that setting at that time, because they just kind of like come like all from all different angles, like, entice you to come to their shop. And for the most part, a lot of the things in a lot of the shops were pretty similar and pretty much the same thing. So it's kind of hard to see, or hard to figure out which one or who to buy stuff from, or what's authentic, or what kind of deal you're going to get. But they're very much a bargaining system. Like, you want to keep a straight face, don't really show that you're really interested in one thing, or just, it's a lot of tactics. Like, honestly, if you take a lot of those people, a lot of the people that were at the market, and give them some formal education, or give them access to like modern day technology, they'll probably rule the world. Like, especially with the hard sell, like, very persistent, very knowledgeable, very friendly, and a lot of times in business, especially when you're doing sales, you got to have the likability factor. Many of them were very likable, very warm, just trying to make their money, hustle, live how they got to live. Like, granted, like I said, with education and modern day technology, that would be awesome. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad to see that they have to do this, and that they for a lot of the countries of the world to be as affluent and have as much resources that they've pretty much raped from Africa for the most part, to come here and see, people living like that and have to live like that and do the things they have to do to survive. It was kind of bittersweet for the most part. And when I tell you they were persistent, like, from the time we got off the bus to the time we got like step foot on the bus, that we're trying to sell and get their products off. We also had a lecture yesterday from a professor from the University of Ghana. A lot of interesting information. I wish I could tell you more about it, but the timing of that presentation was not well placed. She came on a Sunday on her day off, and she came after she left church, and which was like 3 o'clock, after we'd gone to 2 museums, gone to the arts and craft market, and after we ate. So most of us were struggling to stay awake, like, holding your eyes, slapping your face, trying to move and, do stuff to stay awake and not be rude to the presenter, because it was good information. For the most of the information that I got in between nodding off and dozing off and trying to make myself stay up, it was really good information. So that was fun. And then yesterday, after the presentation, we we made these bags. We sorted all we sorted all of the toiletries and all of the school supplies that we brought, and put them into bags. We're going to 3 different places today. We're broken up into 3 groups and going to 3 different places to volunteer. I'm going to an orphanage, which is probably going to be a little emotional for me. I'll probably get back and let you know, well, when I get back, or tomorrow morning or tonight, talk about that, because yeah, you know, I love the kids, and to see kids suffer, especially being so innocent and being so young and not having a choice in who they're brought into the world by, where they're brought into the world, you know, and, you know, being orphaned by, for whatever reason, parents being killed or parents dying, brother dying in childbirth and different things like that, it's probably going to be a bit heart-wrenching. You know? And much of what we're going to do is just to kind of encourage them and talk to them and play with them and kind of lift their spirits and things. Another group is going to a juvenile detention center, and another group is going to a school for the intellectually, what is it called? Students who have intellectual disabilities, so basically mental disabilities. And it was started by a mom whose daughter had a seizure, and before she could get help had already developed some brain damage and intellectual impairment. So she started that and began to encourage other parents to bring their children in. That's how that school started. So those are the 3 places that we're going this morning, and then we're going to I believe it's the University of Ghana, and we're going to go to the bookstore and kind of tour the campus and stuff like that. So that's my recap for day 2 on day 3. So it's been a great experience so far. Like, don't believe what you see on TV. I'm gonna show you the hotel we live in. Like right now, I feel like I'm just in another, you know, city, modern city, by, you know, looking at the hotel. Granted, some of the amenities are a bit different, but not very much so. So I'm gonna give you a little tour of the room and hotel and stuff. Sorry, that was my finger. So it was supposed to be 2 twin-size beds, but it's that little bitty bed, and which thankfully my roommate Terry decided he would sleep in. And then there's this bed, which I've been sleeping in. TV. It's like a regular hotel room. I'll show you a little bit of outside, like the view that we have. Like, it's not the best view. Like, all you see is trees, or this is downtown Accra. So, like, very much different from what they show you on TV. There's no giraffes or zebras outside my window. There's pavement, there's streets, there are cars, there are buildings. So, yeah, it's not, don't believe all that. I'm pretty sure there are places like that they show you on television, but this isn't one of them. This is the bathroom. Only the shower is kind of high. I almost busted my ass up earlier today. That's me. It's like those hotels where it's 2 separate parts for the bathroom and the shower. Bathroom. So, pretty typical basic hotel room. Outside is pretty nice. I'll show you that later. Maybe not right now, because I think I'm going to go eat. All right. Till next time.